It's the Kevin Kollins Show on 1340 WJOL. Studio lines 815-254-7300. Every afternoon at this time, we talk about the stories out there, get you up to speed on what you need to know. Evan, what do we need to know?
Well, Kevin, an issue that was discussed at a Joliet City Council meeting that didn't involve Evergreen Terrace or any warehouses being built in or around the city. It was two council members from the Public Service Committee. They grilled the head of the Utilities Department this week over the use of contractors for the city. This is from Bob Okun from the Herald News. The committee reviews contracts before they're approved for sewer line work, street repairs, and other public works and utility job. At the committee meeting, Chairman Jim McFarland and Councilman Larry Hugg questioned the utility director repeatedly about the use of contractors instead of city employees for ranging from valve repairs to laying new pipeline. The give and take between the two councilmen and Jim Egan indicated a dispute within the department over whether work should be going to contractors or to union staff hired by the city. You're saying they can't do it, Hugg said at one point. They're telling us you won't let them do it. We want the truth. Hugg later said there's a lot of things that needed to be investigated. McFarland then criticized Egan for not properly training people. Why are you hiring staff for your department and you're not training them, he asked. When Egan suggested he would put staff on an upcoming project to see how well they perform, McFarland told him, I don't want you to set them up for failure. Councilwoman Betty Gavin, the third council member on the Public Service Committee, at times was playing mediator between the two and said, to do what we're doing here today is not going to solve anything. She suggested that the argument was inappropriate for council business.
Yeah, a little bit like bickering high school kids. Here, this is what it comes down to for me in making a decision like that, running a department like that. What's the most cost effective? Is it cost effective? Are the employees sitting on their hands while contractors brought in to do this, or are they busy doing other projects and bringing in the contractors actually is a cost savings tool? Or do they need to hire another? I mean, that's what it comes down to. It doesn't, just because the employees can do the job doesn't mean if there's enough work that can affordably be outsourced, that's not always a bad option. So, yeah, it's something that obviously they got to look at the budgets at. And again, if the employees are sitting there with nothing to do and they're bringing in contractors, then there's an issue there. But if the employees have enough to do and you're bringing in contractors at an affordable price that is a money savings to do things, there's no issue with that.
To me, the question is what Councilman Hugg brought up, which is it sounds as if people in the department are telling him they're being told there's jobs that they just won't be allowed to do. And obviously, you have to get to the bottom of that. You have to find it because there's a dispute within a department.
Right.
It's no longer about whose argument is valid or not. It's about why is there this dispute in the department and how can you rectify it and get to the underlying cause of the dispute. That's the bigger part. Because you just don't want fighting in city departments. You want to try to clear that problem up because it will eventually affect the performance of said department. Will it not?
Yep. Absolutely.
Kevin, we talked about this yesterday. Richard Drobesky, he's a state of Indiana individual who served nearly 40 years in prison for stabbing and strangling two children, ages 3 and 6, in 1964 when he was 16. He was released on parole in 2003. He then later went back to prison for molesting a boy in 2007. He was released from prison last Thursday in Northwest Indiana after serving his sentence on the molestation conviction. He then went missing. Authorities could not find him. They had no word of where he had gone to. They had alerted the public to look out for Richard Drobesky, saying that if you see this man, call authorities immediately. Police were very concerned about the fact that he had essentially gone into hiding. Well, he was arrested yesterday, Kevin, at a library in Indianapolis, the Central Library. The details surrounding his arrest aren't available, but he had failed to register as a sex offender and was facing going behind bars. Thursday was the deadline to register, and as we said, since his release, authorities had been concerned about his background, and based on that criminal background, police believe that they need to remand him back into custody. It is believed he traveled by bus to Indianapolis, but obviously a very dangerous individual off the streets again, just after being released for going into hiding, essentially trying to evade the authorities' efforts to keep tabs on him.
And they really did a press campaign on that to get his picture and his name out there. They obviously were highly concerned about this guy possibly committing crimes again. So yeah, we got press releases here on it.
Representative Diane Black says Planned Parenthood has blood on its hands. The Tennessee Republican is offering a bill in the U.S. House to stop the flow of federal money to the group, pending a thorough investigation into recent undercover videos.
My approach right now just says, okay, time out. No more money going to Planned Parenthood. We know what the soul of this organization is about. That's shown very clearly in these videos.
The bill comes in response to recent videos purporting to show top-level administrators discussing the sale of infant body parts. Oklahoma Senator James Lankford introduced corresponding legislation in the Senate called the Defund Planned Parenthood Act yesterday. Planned Parenthood said the videos were manipulated by pro-life activists.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched in depth those videos, but I'm curious, how could they be manipulated? I mean, don't you either say, yeah, I can do this to get your body parts or not? I mean, yeah.
And it's important to note that while they put clips up of the videos, the most salacious stuff that was stated, kind of in a sizzle reel, as it's called in our business, they've posted the entire videos on their website, this pro-life group that documented this. So if they were manipulated, Planned Parenthood, then please go to the full videos and show us what was manipulated. I've watched the videos, Kevin. It's disturbing.
Yeah,
it's really disturbing, the conversations that these individuals are having and how nonchalantly they're doing it. One lady at one point wanted to know how much someone would be willing to buy a full baby fetus for, because I want to buy a Lamborghini. Ha 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 ha. As she's breaking bread and eating salad. It was nauseating.
Oh,
yeah, I was getting sick.
I don't need to see that. They'll be making some changes at that group. Absolutely, we'll be making some changes.
I think some headway is going to be made more than that. I think this defund bill could gain some steam. I mean, this Planned Parenthood, as they've said before, we've been under attack before, and we've survived those attacks, and we'll survive this one. This is different.
Yeah.
There's a smoking gun now about possible illegal activity. It's not just the nature of the conversations. They're discussing illegal activities, allegedly, in these videos. There's going to be a federal investigation. A planet that's 1,400 light years away is being called Earth's cousin. Kepler 452b is older and larger than the Earth, but it orbits a sun very similar to our own.
It is the closest thing that we have to another place that somebody else might call home.
John Jenkins is from NASA's Ames Research Center. He says the newly found planet is 60% larger in diameter than the Earth, but gets about the same amount of light and energy from its sun. Since its launch, NASA's Kepler spacecraft has found more than 1,000 exoplanets, but only a few so-called Goldilocks zones where liquid water could exist.
Just looking around, it's pretty much the same today since we went through by Pluto a couple days ago.
Philistine.
Nothing revolutionary has happened yet. I still have my Tang, though, at home, which is a good thing we got out of the space program. That is what you need to know on 1340 WJOL.
Why do I even try?
519, the Kevin Kollins Show.